It's the Dance Force with DJ Will on the Wheels of Steel.
Capital FM's Dance Force with DJ Will, the smooth spinner. And I have a special guest on the show today.
Yeah.
The one and only.
Yeah.
Ruyonga.
Yay! What's up? What's good, Will?
Man, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
We call this Dance Force before hours.
Before hours.
You know,
Nice.
because the show is in the night,
Yeah.
but we get to have an interaction during the day.
Nice.
And then you get to we get to discuss and go back and forth on like so many things.
That's dope.
All right.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. It's been a minute
I
since
know,
we last
it's
kicked
been
it.
a while, you know, man.
Yeah.
I'm putting out songs just so we can hang out, you know what I'm saying?
And I remember the last time we chatted was in the lockdown.
Yes.
Yeah. So how have you been since the lockdown?
Just been prepping, planning, plotting, you know, just trying to move forward. And so far, you know, so good. I mean, so far, one of our initial things is kicking off really nicely.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so it's good.
Since the lockdown,
Yeah.
I remember the last time was Katrina.
Yeah.
No job.
Yeah.
And before we get into the latest, why
Yeah.
Katrina no job? Because I remember playing the song and there were so many questions people were asking me.
Yeah.
Why Katrina no job? Why is Ro talking about the slay quid? And then one lady in particular called Katrina reached out to me and said, is this guy singing about me?
That's interesting. No, I mean, she just stands for that whole situation of there were guys in the when most people in the lockdown couldn't move.
Okay.
There were people that could. So I just felt like that was great content.
And Katrina
for
was
a
one
song.
of them who could move?
I believe so. Like, no, I think she just stands for the people who could. But I think she was traveling, man. I think she was traveling. Like, she was one of those people who was on the road when no one else was.
So is Katrina like a metaphor?
Yeah, I think it was just that at the time it just I wanted to capture like kind of conversations people were having when we're going through what we're going through.
Yeah.
Like, why is so much restriction going on? And yet for some people, you know, there are people who tell me, I wasn't there. People who tell me that they would bump into certain people at places that were supposed to be closed and they don't be open like broad day or night, like, and then they ask those people, so what do you guys think about the lockdowns? People would laugh and be like, what lockdown?
Oh, I remember that. What lockdown?
Yeah.
But some of those people that would say what lockdown got in trouble.
Some, but many didn't.
With authorities.
Yes, but many didn't. And I think the only reason, as in, it was just that thing of, you know, society is interesting.
Exactly.
You know, where you are determines what you go through. And that's not like a physical thing. It's like association and different things. So I wanted to capture that in a way that was fun without being preachy. So, Katrina,
but you know,
no joke.
world over, even in the US, because I have some of my people that they were telling me lockdowns were a problem. People would defy lockdown protocols, you know?
They would.
Beyond 6 p.m., you'd find people out still walking around. Of course, with them, their policies were kind of more strict because there, you're not going to have a bar or establishment open. If they get you, you will be in trouble.
Very much.
But they would walk around, the cops would try and tell them and go back home, and it would be so hard. But anyway, moving away from that, congratulations, Katrina, was a good jam.
Thank you.
And then I wanted to understand, as a hip-hop guy, for the culture, why did you choose that style, throwing in a reggaeton type of beat, dancehall, and then rhyme over it?
Because hip-hop is about culture, and the culture where I'm from.
Yeah.
The stuff they respond to is... Because I do hip-hop stuff, but I feel like sometimes hip-hop is also about capturing the feel of the moment.
I get
you. Know?
Yeah.
I want to take you to where we were at that time. And if I could take you through time and use that as a soundtrack, that's the kind of music that guys be playing out and about.
Do you think, as a hip-hop fanatic and as a lover of hip-hop, your fans or someone who loves hip-hop will find that sort of like a disrespect to the culture?
I would like to think so if it wasn't for the fact that...
associating it with popular music, Chidongo, Stroke Chidandali, and all them other things.
I get.
Yeah.
I would like to think that, except for the fact that I'm in a unique situation, right? Like, hip-hop in the States.
Yeah.
That music, that's the kind of stuff that they were dancing to. That's the stuff that they came up on. Like, boom bap is simply... That's actually dance music for them. Like, it became really like conscious and thoughtful, but it started out as just party music.
Yeah.
Like, so really, there's that. And also the fact that they told their story.
Okay.
Every time I do a very straight up hip hop track, I'm really just imitating someone else's story. Like, so for me, this is my way of us having our kind of hip hop. And thirdly, I mean, it has just come full circle because every hip hop head you know has probably jumped on on this, because right now the focus is Africa. Afrobeat is the biggest thing. It's a natural thing for me. I grew up in this. It's not like I honed my skill on boom bap, and I'll always go back to it in a second.
Yeah.
But I can tell that story on any kind of sound bed.
And also, the origin of hip hop is straight from dance hall.
Yes.
For a lot of people, aren't very aware that hip hop actually came from dance hall.
Guys
reggae and dance hall.
They may not be aware that the guys who invented hip hop were all Jamaicans. That stuff came out of the Bronx and Queens, and they're like,
well, there's a lot of Jamaican and Caribbean people.
Yes. So many of the guys, even the first guy, like the guy, it's a Cool Herc or whatever, like his roots are Jamaican. So like it's just an offshoot of that. It's just really coming back full circle, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving us that school of thought and knowledge. Now, talking about Katrina, let's give people their flowers. Who produced the song? Who wrote the song?
I wrote the song, but it was a collaborative effort because we were having a conversation, so I can't take credit for that.
All right, yes. So name the people.
Josh S.B., Shadrach Chisame, and my guy Ocean.
Shadrach, the same guy who's responsible for Keko? Or it's another Shadrach?
Shadrach from Black Market.
Okay.
And Ocean from they were Black Market at the time. Yeah, so we were doing a lot of stuff together during the lockdown, and we were like, I was making a lot of fun music because there was a lot of depression going on. So I felt like I wanted to make something that would be healing for both me and people who had it. So that was one of the fun conversations that came up. So it was me, Josh S.B., Ocean, and Shadrach, and they did mostly the choruses where because I mean sometimes more or less the chorus is the hook of the song, so they helped craft that. So I
love that. And speaking about conversations,
SB produced it, by the way.
All right, shout out to Josh SB.
Yeah.
Now, speaking about conversations, there's always been this thing in our town or in our country about hip hop being portrayed in the English language versus the local dialects such as Luganda, Lusoga, Runyankore, and all those things. Exactly. And then you that actually spend a significant amount of time rapping in English, being looked at as the wannabe kids, or the kids who are trying to imitate the Jay-Z's and all them other people.
Yes.
What is usually your school of thought on that?
My school of thought on that is it comes down to the artist. You have to be your own person. You have to know what you feel is authentic, because if it's really authentic to you, it will resonate.
Okay.
Like, I've done a lot of languages recently, but when my stuff was straight English, in the hardest, deepest ghettos, everywhere that I would go, whatever, guys were like, "Oh, Ruyonga, Wakabi, Achikuba, Tanzania." Like, so for me, like, because I was authentic about it, and I always told that the story that I tell is the home story. For me, I'm three things, maybe four: God, hip hop, UG music, and UG in general, as a culture, as a country, as a people. So like that has always been the story that I want to tell. Like, I feel like it's a blessing.
Ru, would you say that part of your upbringing rather, having spent some time abroad, in the US, it actually contributed to why you're able to portray your skills the way you do? Because there's other kids out here or other cats that actually do what you're doing, but there's a difference. Because every time I play your records, the one thing someone asks me is he Ugandan or is he from the States? Not until they get to hear Ruyonga. Really? Or he's just some guy who's just trying to be Pan-African. He's trying to... And that's the thing, that it's always different when you have somebody that has lived elsewhere or has been exposed to a different environment and then shows up here and then they have to do it.
Well, I do know a few artists who do hip-hop, English hip-hop really well and sound American that never left the country. But I will say...
that means they do it really
well. Like 1, 2, or 3. Okay, now 2, because one of them then went to the States. But even before he left, and even me before I left, my pen game and my ability, I was in school, right? And there was this guy from the States. And so I honed my accent with that guy. And at some point, he was there for like a year and a half, like almost towards the end of that year and a half. He was like, so which part of the States are you from? And I was like, bruh, I ain't never been. You get? And he was so shocked. Because it was like, you sound so... Because for me, I grew up on movies and that music and what, and I got immersed in it. I'm a creative. So I think like certain creatives or many creatives, when you get immersed in a certain type of thing, it can really come off authentically. But I will say that I definitely now perfected it because I was in the battle scene in the States, and then did tours, and then I met a bunch of artists that I don't really need to name, but are people's favorites right now. So it definitely I had an upper hand being in the middle of the what you call the real thing. I guess.
And speaking about hip hop and all, there's I don't know if you've been trying to keep up with that. There's been this is not really so much of what we need to talk about, but there's been beefs in hip hop in our country. You know, people who have been doing it versus people who are coming to do it, and then people that have been doing it versus those who are trying to create a different style out of what we've been hearing. Especially when it comes to the Luga flow artists. Sometimes some people have been referred to as very un-hip hop like. Like what they do is just get a chidongo, a chidandali beat, and then they just jump on it, and there's no content at all, and it's more or less like it's just popular bubblegumish music. I don't know if you know what I mean. And then there's also the idea that we have to really focus on our market. What are the things that people in our country that are exposed to will relate in terms of the product that you make?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, beef is, I don't know if it's a necessary evil or it's an alternative evil. What I mean by that is like the hip-hop culture has a beef history. Right?
Competitive one.
It's competitive. So
not to be violent or, but it's just meant to be competitive.
Very and good. The guys who initially did it, there was no backlash. There was barely any. There might have been one or two fights when they made physically, but because I mean people were insulting. Some of those insults cut deep. Right? But now when hip hop progressed and became more marketable, there were a bunch of business entities that realized one of the quickest ways to really up the market, even at cost to the culture, was to glorify sex and violence.
I hear you.
And impoverished communities have a lot of violence. Like, many of them actually, not all of them, but many of them, because there's no resources, there's a bit more lawlessness. So now you fast forward, and it has been glorified so much. You think hip hop is strictly only Chicago, it's gangs, or it's New York, or it's LA and gangs and sex and strippers. And now a guy will they don't even diss each other to be lyrical. People literally diss each other to threaten to kill one another. Then they kill one another, and their diss song is them mentioning people they killed. Like that happens a lot in Chicago drill music. So beef is a culture that I have a love-hate relationship with, because competitive aspects make you better. But there's aspects of that competition which, when they go south, if some like in a confrontation between two people, if you get me with words and I still want to get you, then I resort to other things.
I get you.
That is something we definitely need to keep in check. But in terms of what people from outside relate to as opposed to what's here, really I feel like, one, we've gotten to a place where there's a globalization of sorts. What people are exposed to there and what people are exposed to here, there's not much difference. If I get on TikTok for a couple of days, we're all going to see the same thing. We're going to see the same styles. We're going to hear the same slang. We're going to know about the same shows. Any of the series you could get when I was growing up, couldn't get access to a bunch of this stuff. Now, any series again in the States, we can watch them at the same time. I watch it before you. Because of the way the internet works. So people resonate around the same things. Now, locally, we definitely have a culture, but that culture doesn't involve beef. And it was until that hip hop stuff started involving that, and that on sometimes it's unnecessary. Like, I'm in a situation where recently, like, everything you say is misconstrued. And people are trying to push it towards something that is so unnecessary, because guys know that it also relates to the scandal culture. It also relates to the scandal culture, which those are things that I personally feel like, they seem like necessary evils, but they're more like alternative evils. There's ways to grow and build your culture without them.
Because people want to use that to be able to push the brand and the product.
I get, and that's a kind of marketing. And controversy is good when it's not your go-to. Like if you know how to work controversy, right? It will definitely get you results. But when it becomes your cause, your source, it becomes a nasty thing.
Do you think there'll always be that thing of uptown kids versus the downtown kids, and what the downtown kids relate to versus what the uptown kids relate to in terms of the genre?
I think it depends.
Like if Ruyonga had to do a hip hop song, would it resonate with the downtown kids?
I have a song that I did, the song the song that we're going to talk about.
Okay.
Because I had one, there was a lot of Luganda, and then it seamlessly switched into Runyankole.
Yeah.
2, the other guy is on it. Wanda JR, he did his whole thing in Luganda slang.
Yeah.
3, we had the Zex Biranji. Now he's a downtown legend. He's their favorite.
True.
So with all that came together, when the song came out, some of the first people to have it were the downtowners.
Okay.
And they're all celebrating it and hyping it, and that some of the people who helped make it like the #1 trending topic online that day. Like, so it just comes down to, it depends.
Okay.
Yeah.
And speaking about you've been very ahead. I think you've been ahead at one point in terms of the direction of the music, because when you put out Tutuse, people that listen to Tutuse then and enjoyed it, and then when they listen to Amapiano now, there's actually a similarity.
Yeah, that's
Were you ahead of time when you did Tutuse, that style?
I was, and if I could go back, I don't know, because you see, the thing is, me and JT, who produced Tutuse, we were like, we want to create an urban but local Ugandan sound that can take over the world.
Yeah.
But
you had listened to SA House before, right?
Not really, no. I come from UG. I don't know if you could. I listened to House, and I'd listened to some SA House, but actually, I listened more to SA House when I came back.
Oh.
So me, I found that the thing about, if there was such a thing as UG House or Yuga House, that's what Tutuse would have birthed. Really.
Do you feel like the drum patterns are very similar to what Amapiano is now?
Yeah, but
when you play the song and you try to link them up?
And the funny thing is like, that song went very far.
Yes.
It went very far.
I tell you, because
it could have very easily inspired. And it was one of those songs, man, everywhere it went, it was very impactful.
Yeah.
And it came out in SA also. So it's definitely one of those songs that you never, because if you play that song and you play any of the Amapiano, for one, the Amapiano songs all kind of, their underbelly seems to be the same.
Yes.
If you play that song and this one, it would be hard for you to separate them. So we're ahead of our time. And the
kicks are really good in the song when you listen to the structuring, the way it starts and all that.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving away from that, speaking about new projects.
Yes.
Before I get into the new projects, I always advocate for this every time I have a musical artist here.
Yes.
My #1 question: do you own your music?
Yes.
Do you own your publishing?
Yeah, working on that.
You're working on it.
Yeah.
From the older stuff, you don't own the publishing from the older stuff?
I do.
Really?
Not all of it. Not all of it is under publishing. Like I said, we're working on it. Like, we have a very intensive situation going on to do with the publishing.
Yeah, because you were once with a different type of management.
Yeah.
And in our line of work, this entertainment thing, we don't have an NSSF where you keep putting money for retirement. So your masters and your publishing is basically your retirement. In case things, like when you have your catalog and I decide to buy your catalog, you can still eat off that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So as of now,
is there a situation here where someone can do that?
Well, we would really need to work with intellectual property lawyers to try and make things like that work.
Yeah.
Because there's a bunch of people, older artists, that have huge catalogs.
Yeah.
Now, it's like how these people would go to shows and a promoter would advance them money.
Yes.
And then they would buy the concert from them. You get what I mean? Like, they'll give them 100 million, and then the promoter would make their money back and profits from that.
Yes.
So it's like you're selling your catalog
to somebody. Selling your catalog like a show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So as of now, Ruyonga, are you focusing on making sure that at least you have your masters, you own your masters?
Yeah.
You can get publishing along the way, in case, if anything happens.
If anything, one of the main things I've definitely
and maybe your family can eat on that.
Yeah. One of the main things because I was away and I came back. Now, one of the main, before when I came, it was just do music. Now, I have a big understanding of the music, audio, visual, intellectual, business, the legal, the accounting side. So every time you see me putting out music, all those things are being worked on the same way the music is being work on at the same time. So those are the things that we are definitely putting in place.
All right, let's get into it. Brand new single is out.
Yeah.
Parte Yani. Zex Bilanjilanji.
Yep.
Wonder Jr.
Yep.
Tell me, who wrote the song? Who produced it? Then we get into it.
Josh SB produced the song,
Shout
did the video.
Josh. Yeah.
Shout out to Josh. They actually did the whole album. It's a whole album. The album's called Kabalega. It's one of the main singles off of it. Writing was, everyone wrote their verse. And everyone wrote the part. Whatever you hear.
No ghostwriters, eh? You know, in hip hop, there's ghostwriting.
I don't have a problem with ghostwriting. I've just never used it. If anything, I'm more likely to ghostwrite than be ghostwritten.
So Ruyonga pens his own thing. No ghostwriters here.
Hold on.
Yeah?
Nah.
No ghostwriters for Ruyonga.
Nah, no one has come and written me something.
Okay.
Now I collaborate with people and they might tell me that style would work. But usually guys trust me. I'm very competent to pen my own
Has
thing.
Ruyonga ghostwritten for other people?
So the name of the song is Parte Yani, coming off the Kawadega album.
Look at you, man. Okay. So Wonder JR wrote his own verse.
Wrote his own stuff.
Zex wrote his own verse.
Yeah, Zex didn't write, he just came and vibed.
Okay.
So what happened was I said it's an enjoyable song. I spoke about Pate. Tengi just vibed in a party style, Wonder JR, and Zex caught that vibe and just came and exploded on it.
Okay, and how did you link up with Zex? Because it's been a hot cake for quite some time now. One hit after the other.
It was good, really, because I linked up with Zex through someone he was working with.
Yeah.
Right as he was, because Zex has been doing this since. If guys go online and check out Zex,
Zex has been a while because he approached me in 2015.
Yeah.
By then he was Zex. I think he was Zex Inchkumi. Exactly, and he approached me like 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
And he asked me, "Yo, could you help me play my songs?"
Yeah.
And I remember him from then.
Yes.
So yeah,
and those probably weren't even his first song. So it was one of the first, but he's been around a while. So when I connected with him, we just had a it was a vibe, mutual respect, and we established that relationship right as he was starting to build that song, which is that first.
Was that Ratata?
Yeah. Ratata.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Shout out to you for making the connection.
Yeah.
Now, the song is out on all streaming platforms:
all of
YouTube,
them.
Apple Music, Spotify.
Yeah.
So go out there, stream and support the brother. We're supporting Ugandan music.
Yeah.
That's why platforms like
stream.
All right. And the video is out as well.
It's on YouTube. YouTube.com/Ruyonga. It's the latest one. Watch. That's how we're doing this thing.
How do you get Wonder JR? Because I know he's also been very popular with some of the things he posts on his platform.
I think if there's an authenticity to what you do and how you appreciate certain things, you get in on things before. So me and Wanda have been talking about collaborating for a long time because I've always appreciated what he did, even before. From a few years ago when I first heard him, to a few years after that when he did an Akadope. We did an Akadope together.
Yeah.
I've always looked like I've always been in contact and I've always told him we should work. So lockdown happens and he starts doing one of the things I wanted to do is when all the content disappeared, he started creating.
True.
Every day for 2 years.
Creating, yeah.
He was doing freestyles. And then he eventually started doing skits. He was always doing mental health things.
Yeah, that's why I saw him at the first.
And so all those things started working together, moving forward, and so by the end of the lockdown, he had amassed quite a movement. So this song just really came together in a really great way because I have my cred. These guys, their movements were really moving. So when we made that happen, it just, I don't know, the synergy, and we all just appreciate one another, man. It's, man, those are things that you wish just live forever because the way we appreciate one another, like it's like a fam thing with a few other people who are in support. It's just It's beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is this part of an album, an EP, or just a bunch of singles you're putting out?
It's part of an album. The album is called Kabalega. It's out.
Any potential release date?
I'm thinking end of this year.
Wow.
The album is done.
December.
The album is done. It could be November, it could be December. The album is done. It's just right now the momentum. We have one more song. Based off of that, we'll know when the album drops.
Any more acts that you're including on the album, collaborations, or you?
I mean, I have a ton.
For it?
I have a ton of them. I mean, I mention them all the time.
Is Morris there?
Morris. I think I tried to reach out to him, and at the time he wasn't really available.
Busy,
He was busy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But I mean, I love his album.
On the album.
Yvonne Couché.
Okay.
Felicity, Zoe Starr.
Zoe Starr is the young lady that you worked with on that rendition of Jim.
Yes.
Speaking of that, by the way, yes, I need to ask this question. Did you clear the sample?
There's no, as we work properly, there's no way I would have done that.
You cleared it with a frigo bag.
No, you wouldn't. That song wouldn't be out this long.
Bro,
if
do you know how many people bring songs to us here at the radio and they've not cleared samples?
What happens?
And we have to turn them away.
Yes. Did you turn me away?
Well, we imagine you're a professional act, so we need you to.
Okay, but I can say literally that I am a professional act because, and also, man, this is a frigo. I'm not going to disrespect like that. We went, sat down, went through a rigorous situation, which we also appreciated because he was invested. Like, it was beautiful. Like, he didn't just say, you have my permission. No. It's like, I don't know what it sounds like. Okay, so why are you doing 2 languages in my... And I think this and I think this. You need to take this and and finally to imagine. I mean, to be there in a room when Mr. Matovu is like, I like this. You take you work.
But do you know what that means?
What?
That he's actually a co-producer on the song.
Yeah.
And royalty checks would actually come in from that as well.
Yeah, there's a percentage that definitely goes just off the fact that we used. Yeah, but he literally.
But the checks now become bigger, eh? Because it's not only just the sample, even the co-production as well.
Yeah, it is what it is.
All right, so Ru, before we end this interview, you've also been part of the big screen. You've been shooting movies.
Yeah.
How did you get into that?
We just wanted to flex. Okay, not just flex. We wanted to stretch our creative side. I wanted to stretch my creative side. So I'm working with Josh. Does music. He does movies. Yeah. You know. So working with him and in conjunction with him and it being a partnership and a synergy to make each other's stuff happen.
Okay.
Just the time came when he was working on film projects and he was like, you can cast and see. And when I cast, he was like, all right, okay. So I had wanted to for a while. So
and I see you there with Felicity as well.
Yes,
who also has prior acting experience as well.
She does, and she has a new project coming out.
She's signed to you
to see you. You'd have to ask her. Like her situation, you'd have to ask her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know for a fact that she's been linked to you, Josh SB, and that whole camp.
We're fam. The camp is the camp.
All right.
Yeah.
Ru, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
The new single is out, Parte Yani, featuring Zex Bilanjilanji and Wanda JR. It's out there. The video is on YouTube. Go check it out. We support Ugandan music. Every time you have something brand new, please do come through.
Definitely.
Let's support. Let's send the brand. Would you like to give a big shout out to maybe 1 or 2 people out there?
First and foremost, Ruyonga Music on all the socials except for you spell it the normal way, MUSIC, except for Facebook with a Z, and it's Ruyonga on YouTube, youtube.com/Ruyonga. Shout out to the SB camp. Shout out to all my people from Zoe. Shout out to all my collaborators, everyone who shows support. Big ups to every single one of you that sees me in their heart in a good way, man. Thank you so much, and I'm gonna keep doing this, going hard for y'all forever.
Big up on yourself. Yeah. All right, the name's DJ Will. Been having Ruyonga in the studio. Shout out to Joshua Caleb on camera as well, representing Kinkachib on Kiss 100.9 from 3 to 7 p.m. Monday to Friday. And on the weekend, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Saturday morning.
Nice.
We'll be back. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll definitely be back with more of Dance Force Before Hours. Boom.
It's the Dance Force with DJ Will on the Wheels of Steel.